So what will you do when the party's over? So what will you do when the party's over?
Hey guys, welcome to Third Man in the Ring. You seen the opening thing? Abel Sanchez, the great Abel Sanchez.
Thank you, sir.
Abel, thank you for having me, coming on my podcast. Appreciate it, bro. You're a legend, living legend. I mean, let's be honest, bro. You became world famous. Oh my God, what next? You became world famous having probably the most popular fighter in the world. Not even 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, well, I had a pretty popular fighter back in the 90s too.
I know you did, but of now that everybody just connects you with Triple G, but we're gonna go there with all your fighters. You have a pretty much a stable of fighters, you know?
Yeah.
And hey guys, he's got an awesome gym up here, Summit Gym in Big Bear, California. And we're gonna talk about that beautiful gym. And obviously you're gonna be like, if a fighter wants to come train here, you got everything here for him, right?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try to lend it to my friends and people that are, I'm not gonna say worthy, but people that are up at the top there that need a seclusion, because up here is not so much the altitude for me, but it's the solitude too. A lot of guys come up here and there's no way to get up. There's only one road to come up. It's a one-lane highway, so it's the solitude is great for them.
Yeah, it felt like Moses when I was coming up there. Oh, geez.
Yeah, somebody made a shirt for me one day. It says, Moses went up the mountain, but Abel built the summit.
That's right. That's right. You should put a shirt on that.
And they made one for me. I forget where it's at now, but yeah.
So Abel, not real quick, but let's start. Where did you start? Where'd you grow up at, man?
I grew up. My early childhood was in the city of industry, La Puente. And then my father, being a building contractor and a developer, he and a partner bought 40 acres up in San Ynez. We went up there to San Ynez for about 3 years. And then we moved back down to West Covina. I finished high school at Edgewood High School in West Covina.
I grew up just down the street.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. My father was a building contractor, so I started doing this as I was 19 years old.
That explains, hey, Abel's building this by himself, pretty much.
Yeah. Everything,
and it's a beautiful gym, guys.
Yeah, I've had some help from some people up here, some plumbers and electricians and stuff like that. But mostly all the construction part of it and the painting part of it, the drywall part of it has been me and a friend of mine. But yeah, so I grew up in West Covina, went to high school there, became a general contractor when I was 18 years old. I was fortunate enough to land a job at 23, 24 up in Sunland, Tahunga, which was the houses where the movie E.T. was filmed. I did all the concrete, the framing on those houses.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I was 23 years old. Real fortunate. Yeah, E.T. phone home.
That's right.
And at the time, even before that, I was kickboxing. I had a chance to do some fights as a kickboxer. I started boxing in Ben Lera's gym. Boxed sometimes in Whittier. Dan Rodarte, if you guys are familiar with that name, Steve, his son, has a gym over in Santa Fe Springs, I believe.
I remember as a kid, I'm 63, so I'm just a few years right there, but I remember seeing you every now and then. Yeah. And then you disappear, and then you come around, then you disappear.
You know what? It's impossible to have two passions. I love construction. I love to build. I love to design. I love to develop. And I love to train. So it's difficult to have two passions like that and give it 100%. So there was moments where my first wife, my first wife would get on my butt because the money wasn't coming in like it should be for everything that we were doing. So I'd leave boxing for a little while and go back to my construction and continue doing that. But there came a point in 2009 when the economy just hit the skids where I just completely retired from construction.
Lost my house too, man.
Yeah, retired from construction and started doing full time here.
Okay. So when you started, how was your kickboxing career?
It was good. I didn't lose. I had all wins.
There you go.
Yeah.
There it goes, guys. I got to watch what I say. I'd like to get kicked in the mouth here, right?
No, but you know what? It was way different back then. It was an amateur career. And what it was back then,
But tell me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Benny the Jet, wasn't he pretty much up there?
Yeah, but those are pros.
I know, but the Bruce Lee thing was like really high?
Listen, it was every block, just like a Starbucks now. Every block had a Taekwondo dojo in it. So all the young males wanted to test themselves.
Yes.
So I started doing that and still do construction. And that's when I met Ben Lira. And I started going to his gym for the boxing part of it. And I'm not gonna say fell in love, but I just found my niche, found what I really wanted to do. And it wasn't to box professionally because I wasn't good enough. I'm a good coach, but I think I'm a good coach, but I just wasn't good enough. These guys
in the pudding.
These guys that are doing the boxing, it's a special breed.
Yeah, it is.
But I've always believed that our Maker put us on this earth to do something, and if you're lucky enough to find that something,
that's right.
I was lucky enough. I found that, and also in construction. I probably have 20 guys and 5 or 6 contractors out there that I taught from scratch. So,
oh wow.
So I think I was put on this earth to be some kind of teacher, and I'm able to convey what I know. So I've been fortunate that I've been successful in both areas.
So even though you're training fighters, you still are an active contractor?
No, actually I retired completely from construction in 2009 when the economy hit the skids.
Oh, okay.
Because I was building a house. I built a bunch of houses up here in Big Bear. I was building a house for, let's just say $100 and couldn't sell it for $100. I had to sell it for less. So it didn't make any sense for me to continue. So then I focused completely 100% on the gym that I had built prior to the economy going bad. Which was the other gym, not this one, but the first gym that I've sold since then. And I was fortunate enough that a young man named Gennady Golovkin's people called me in 2009 and 2010, and everything took off.
Yeah, but before that, you had a couple of fighters, though.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
Okay, well, I had a young man named Lupe Aquino that I was training.
Is it fair to say it ended in a sad story, but Lupe Aquino?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we get these fighters to a certain point where they're making so much money that sometimes they lose themselves. And he lost himself. I think he's in 1987, he won a world title.
Yes.
When I came back, the management team that had him back then had Orlin Norris and Terry Norris, who were very young careers.
San Diego.
Yeah, they had a very young career, so I was asked to work with them. And fortunate for me, I had Lupe Aquino. My first fighter ever was a world champion. My second fighter was Terry Norris, was a world champion. My third fighter was Orlin Norris, was a world champion. So my first 3 out of the gate were world champions. I started training.
So it's fair to say that Abel has a resume. And I'm saying this as a fan because I remember these fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to watch them, and when I'd see you in the corner, it just didn't dawn on me at the moment, but I tell myself, I seen him at Ben's gym.
Yeah.
I seen him with Ben.
Yeah.
And I put 2 and 2 together, and I'd have to brag and tell the homeboy, I know him.
Well, when I was with at Ben's gym for about 2 years, 2.5 years maybe, and then I moved down to San Diego to do construction. In '86 is when Lupe Aquino called me, and I started working with him. But like I said, he was the first one, Terry second one, Orlin third one, and then while I was training Terry, I had a guy called me that was managing a kid named Paul Vaden. And he became also a world champion at 154. So
Paul Vaden, it's clicking. I just can't picture the face.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite fighters to be with in the gym, just because of his attitude. Just because of he was always in a good mood. Was never mad at anybody. Just work hard. Very talented. I shouldn't say one of my favorites. I should say, but he was a lot of fun working with.
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because I've been raised only by Ben Lira. I only know Ben Lira, and he had, I'm not going to say he had his, well, no, I should say it. He had his favorites as well. Mm-hmm. There was some fighters that just, if you told them to jump off the building, they'd do it. No questions asked. And then there was other ones gave attitude, or they gave a weak day today, a good day tomorrow. And I don't know if you know, but growing up with Ben, when he was mad at you, bro, he let you know. You know what I mean?
Of course, yes. Of course, he was my amateur coach.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
But you know what? I think that we as coaches, if we can tell ourselves we're going to the gym and be looking forward to going to the gym, it doesn't matter if the guy's 0-10 or 10-0. If you have fun going to the gym, that's what coaches are all about. They want to teach, and they want young men that want to listen. Whether you're right or you're wrong, or you're the best coach or the worst coach, that doesn't matter. What we're trying to do is just convey what we know or what we think we know. And if the young man is willing to listen, well, then that's the fun part of it. If you have to come to work and you hate coming to work, then it's not fun.
Well, let me ask, let's just jump into that then, Abel. Did you ever think that you were going to get to this level when you first started training people?
Of course not.
You know what I mean?
Of course not. No, you know what? I think that we have to take chances. We have to take chances, and I've always believed that, even in construction, that you have to have your own mode. You have to have your own way. There's too many people today doing it like it was done before. And like it was done before, and if it was not successful, well, you're going to continue in that same pattern. I've always tried to have a private gym. I've always tried to be in my own gym because I have a lot of things that are innovative, a lot of things that I make myself because I own part of a welding shop. So I make a lot of my own weights, a lot of my own training equipment. So I have things that I do that are different from everybody else. Yeah. When they come here to test themselves and see if they can stand what I do. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very physical. I run a military camp, and if people can handle it, great, but it's all because things that I do that nobody else does.
Is it fair to say that when you're in the gym, you're the boss? I mean, or how does that work? I mean, let's be honest, in the gym, sometimes you get snake coaches, bro. Yeah. Let's be honest.
No, listen, in my gym, I'm the boss, and if you don't like it, there's the door.
There you go.
Because it's
same with Ben as well.
Absolutely, and I think I got that from him and his brother. That they don't play. They don't play. If you don't want to train, that's okay. You know what? There's another kid that wants to train. Right. So yeah, it has to be that way because when everything's all said and done, they're gonna blame you. It's your fault.
Yeah, I mean,
so might as well let it be my fault.
That's right. And, you know, that's an awesome way of looking at it because they will.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always the coach that's the wrong guy. It's always the coach that didn't do this. It's always the coach. So if it's gonna be my fault, let it be my fault.
Yeah. So you take Lupe Aquino to the world title, obviously. When did when that accident happened, and I'm saying this here, he got a drunk driving accident, 2 people lost their lives, and he ended up going to prison. When he got out, I noticed he tried to fight again.
Yeah, I stayed in contact with him. I would visit him at Tehachapi, and when he got out, a different person, obviously a little heavier. We tried to make a comeback. I wasn't going to abandon him.
And that says a lot about Abel, you know? That was there. You weren't going to abandon him.
He was my first world champion. He was a good friend. His father was a good friend. So we tried it. And it just wasn't the same. You know, unfortunately, in this business, you're lucky if you get a second chance.
I know. Yeah.
You know, you get the
was
one
it
chance.
Age, maybe? Or
age or the time in jail, the loss of 2.5, 3 years that he had in jail that... maybe his skills eroded, he aged, father time doesn't forgive anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know what it was. It just wasn't the same. The spark was not there. But towards the end, even before the accident, once he won the title, it was, unfortunately for these kids, once they make some money, the effort is not as strong as it used to be. That's why I think we as coaches learn from our fighters also. And I learned that I have to be, pardon the French, but an asshole. You know, I have to demand certain things, and if you don't want it, that's okay, because I'd rather have you be a good citizen than a great fighter. You know, a good citizen for the rest of your life, because you're going to have this career for 10, 15 years, and after that, you're going to have the rest of your life. So I want to instill some qualities and some character in my fighters that are going to help them later on.
So he just pretty much retired now.
I think he retired.
What's he doing now?
You know, I don't know. He was in Bakersfield. I talk to Ben once in a while about him, and I guess he reaches out to Ben, but I really don't know.
Yeah. And how about Norris?
Terry is in...
is it fair to say, and I'm saying this, boxing took a toll on Terry Norris?
You know, unfortunately, in the...
and I noticed it hits some people and some it don't. Why do you think that?
I have my thoughts about that, and we can discuss them in a little later, but okay. I stopped working with him in late '92. After 9 defenses, I think, of his title. And the reason I stopped working with him is obviously monetary. The manager wanted more control, and I would rather walk away than be subjected to work in the corner with somebody that I have to be subjective and make a decision based on what they're doing to me.
Yeah, it's ugly.
You understand?
It's like being in a bad marriage. Huh?
Yeah, you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
he's doing real bad in a fight, but yet I have to think back on what they're trying to do to me outside the ring. Am I going to make the right decision? I don't want to be put in that position. So I decided that I was going to walk away from him. When I walked away from him, it was right after the Mildred Taylor fight. He was very sharp. He was very spoke well. Everything was fine. I didn't abuse him in the gym. I try not to spar my fighters for too many rounds. I try to spar my fighters only when they're ready to spar, not just spar to get ready for a fight. So after I left, some of the other kids that I had in the gym would call me and tell me that he was just abusing himself. He was sparring too many rounds. He was trying to recover from the lifestyle that he had started living, and that's not good for an athlete, man. An athlete has to be an athlete.
Yeah, all the time.
So after the Taylor fight, he had probably 6, 7, 8 more fights, but it wasn't the fights, it was the abuse that he took in the gym that really took its toll on him. He's actually doing much better. He's married a young lady that has taken him to speech therapy, has done so well with him. And they have they had anyway, I don't know if they still does. Last time I saw him, he visited me at the other gym, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. They have a boxercise class for adults over in Bel Air, Beverly Hills, somewhere over there. So he's doing very, very well. I'm really proud of him.
Good for you, Terry. God's luck, man. God's luck.
And his brother, Orlin, I saw him, he had a fighter that he was fighting up here. I saw him maybe 4 or 5 years ago also. He's in Lubbock. He still lives in Texas. He had from the last I heard, he's some kind of trucking company.
Okay.
So he's got a piece of property out there and he's doing well.
Awesome. So let's jump into the Triple G. Let's jump in. I mean, at the time, and still is, he's a world famous fighter. And in my opinion, I feel you took him to that level.
Yeah.
Your skills, your knowledge in boxing, because he could have went anywhere.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, he could have went anywhere. So they obviously called you for a reason.
I just read that he's in the ballot for the Hall of Fame this year, along with Verlin.
Props to you, eh?
Yeah, we'll have to, if he makes it, I'll have 2 in the Hall of Fame. Terry's in the Hall of Fame, and so is Orlin. I mean, so will be G. But actually, I think that.
Are you in the Hall of Fame?
No, I've been on the ballot, but one of these days.
Come on, guys.
That's okay.
Come on, guys.
As long as my boys are in there, that's good enough for me.
Still, you need to be there, man.
I think that those accolades are more for your, at least in my opinion anyway, more for your friends and for your family and for your kids, that they can brag about that. For us, I think we just keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully we'll be remembered in a way that we made a contribution.
Well, you're remembered already, and I'm not just saying that, Abel. Everybody knows you. They know you. They recognize you as a world-class trainer.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
From the guys that are just social boxing fans to the righteous boxing fans. You know what I mean? Like right away, Orlin Norris, I knew about that. But people that are just, I'll just watch a fight this week because Triple G's got a fight. Yeah. They recognize you,
Yeah, that was the perfect storm for me. But to get back to G, I think that, as I said before, we're put on this earth to be somebody. And if we're lucky enough to find it, I don't think that I could do the job that Ben does or some of the other coaches down at that start with the kids and start bringing them up. I don't think I'd have the patience for that. Honestly, I got to be truthful. So I would.
So you never really trained kids?
Not amateurs. No, I just that wasn't my thing. I wanted to train adults. I wanted fights. I guess I was a parent. I was a parent living my boxing life through my fighters, at the beginning,
that was me living through my boys.
Yeah, you want to see them succeed is like it's your kids, But anyway, I think that I'm more of the tail end of it. I won't say somebody called me a polisher one day. I'm more the tail end of it when they're having a hard time or where they've reached a point where everything is being done the way it used to be done before, and now comes a guy that's going to do things completely different. Instill and implement some ideas and some work habits that maybe were not being done before. So when Gennady came to me, I got a call from, I opened up the gym already over there that I sold already to Munguia. I got a call sometime around April or May of 2010 by his managers, German guys, and they had been visiting.
So Tom was imagining him?
No, actually, Tom didn't come in until about 2-3 fights later. So they called me and they wanted to come and see my gym. They wanted to meet me. They came up a Saturday, Gennady and the two managers, and they had some videos with him, some VHS videos of some of his fights. We talked for a little while, maybe a couple hours, and the managers decided that they wanted to go look around the town and see it. So Gennady and I stayed in the gym, and as you see in this gym, I had a TV with a VCR, and we're watching the fights, and I was commenting his bad English and my terrible Russian, which is none.
So what's his nationality, real quick?
He's actually a Kazakh. His mom was Korean, and his father was Russian, but he was born in Kazakhstan. He is a twin. His brother is, I think, 20 minutes younger or something like that.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
He's a twin, yeah.
I didn't
Max,
know that.
He's the one that worked in the corner with us. Now, from what I'm told, Max was just as good or better in the amateurs than Gennady.
Wow.
But Max didn't have the passion that Gennady had, I guess, and I think Gennady and he decided that one was going to go off to the Olympics and the other one was going to stay home and take care of the parents. And Gennady went off to the Olympics, was able to silver medal in the, I think 2008 Olympics, I think it was. So anyway, they came up. Gennady and I looked at the films, and I was commenting on what I thought he could do different and what he was doing wrong, in my opinion. Mind you, this is a guy. I'm talking to a guy. I've been retired for 6-7 years, and I now have a couple, 3 fighters in the gym. And I'm talking to a guy that had 350 amateur fights, was a silver medalist in the Olympics.
It's a lot of fights.
Was a 3 or 4 time world amateur champion. So you're talking about an accomplished guy, and I'm telling him what I think he needs to be. So we talked for a little while. The managers came back. We went to dinner, and granted, I didn't know who he was. They told me his name, who was coming up, but I had no idea who he was.
He wasn't a pro yet?
He had 13 to 15 fights. I don't remember exactly how many fights. Yeah, but he was already a pro. He was in Germany.
United States?
No, in Germany.
Okay.
He was stationed in Stuttgart, and he was under the Universum banner back then. And I think his contract was up, so that's why they came here looking for a coach and looking for a place to train and looking for fights. He wasn't getting the fights that he needed against Sturm. I guess Sturm was a champion back then. And so he came here. Like I said, we met. Then we went to dinner. They went off and said, "We'll see you tomorrow for breakfast." Their plane would leave on Sunday at around 2 o'clock from LAX. So next morning, or that night when I went home, I looked in the computer. Oh my God! Now I'm really looking at who it was, and I'm like in shock that I was talking to this guy. This really accomplished fighter. Wanted to train in Big Bear at my gym, or at least was saying that he wanted to. Next morning at breakfast, obviously my thought pattern was a little bit different, how I'm talking and how we had breakfast, they left, and the manager says, "Okay, we'll see you in a couple months." Unbeknownst to me, Golovkin fell in love with the fact that it was his gym. It was his private gym. He wasn't going to be in a big, like Universum had this huge gym with a bunch of fighters in it. And the town and the scenery, and it was in the middle of the year, so everything was green, reminded him of home.
Oh, okay.
So actually everything, it clicked, so perfect for him. But when they said, "I'll see you in a couple months," I thought to myself, yeah, sure, and the check's in the mail too, that kind of. Sure enough, 2 months later, but in the meantime, I'm bragging to all my friends after he left about this guy that was in my gym. You should have seen this guy. This guy looks like a choir boy, and this guy had 350 amateur fights. And so
looks are deceiving when it comes to Triple G.
Especially with him, yes.
Yeah.
And not only looks, I mean his mannerisms.
I was just going to say his mannerisms, very polite.
Not to change the subject, but he used to say, "Outside the ring, I'm Gennady Golovkin. Once I step to the ropes, I'm Triple G."
And let me do a little bragging on his mannerism. When Ben Lira's wife passed away, I'm at the funeral, and I turn around, and who's sitting behind me? You and Triple G.
No,
he could have easily, and he was at the height of his career.
Of course.
He could have easily said, "I ain't got no time for that."
No.
But he went there to show respect.
Very intelligent, and we're going off a subject here, but very intelligent and very smart young man, just to show you that he is this thing that he's done with the amateur program. He got the Olympics back into LA. The Olympics were gone. I mean, for boxing, you know that, right?
Yeah.
No, and
he was part of that.
Yeah, of course he was. He was a big part of that.
Props to you, G.
Yeah, you have to look that up. But yeah, he was a big part of that. So anyway, 2 months later, I get a call from one of the managers, and he says, "Will you pick up Gennady at the airport?" And I'm thinking it's you pranking me. I'm thinking it's
cut it out, man.
Hey man, stop this. You know, and the more he talked, the more it sounded like maybe this is real. You know, so I didn't completely believe it, but I said I'm gonna go to the airport, and sure enough, here it comes out with a little bag, and it says, "Where's the rest of your stuff?" He says, "No, coach, I came here to train. I didn't come here to party." In his bad English, you know. I mean, that's how disciplined this young man was. For the first year, in 2010, I had him here for about 6 months straight. Then he went home for about 2 months, month and a half, came back and was with me for 9 months. So the first 3 years he was with me for 9 months, and then 10 months the year after that. He was dedicated, disciplined, and wanted something that he knew the only way he could attain it was to work. So we were able to accomplish a lot in those 3 years that we were together. So he had a benefactor, a guy in Kazakhstan that was helping him with the fights at the beginning. We did probably 3 fights with this guy's help. Another Kazakh businessman, and that's when we brought Tom in. Tom and Shaw and Banner Promotions, another promoter, they went down to Panama and watched him fight. Tom was able to come up with what Gennady was looking for, business-wise, as far as promoter-wise. So we took off. Tom fought like hell with HBO to try to get him on HBO, and we finally did, though.
Yeah. And he blew up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Whose idea was it? Because in my opinion, he shot to stardom when he brought up the Mexican style.
If you look at the Guillot fight.
Can I take credit for it? Okay.
No, actually, if you look at the Guillot fight, when Max Kellerman is interviewing him, watch me come up behind him in his ear and say, "Mexican style." And that's when he said Mexican style.
And man, he blew up overnight.
Yeah, well, then we fight a Rubio at the, what's that called there? The Home Depot Center at the time. And there was 10,000. We had to put more seats in the arena just to be able to. I think there was 95% Mexican fans there, and they were all for Gennady.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
They were fighting a Mexican.
And they were fighting a Mexican, bro.
I think that we as people.
It was almost an honor for Rubio to be knocked out by
You know what I mean? But I think our culture, though, loves a warrior.
Yes.
I think all our fighters have always been warriors, have always come and gave you what you paid for. And I think that's what he was giving the fans. So I think that's one of the reasons why they kind of fell in love with him.
Well, you know what, Abel? Let's talk about the Canelo fights with Triple G. I thought he took, was it number 2?
Number 1, I thought that he won. The second one could have been a draw. The first one, we had that unfortunate judge that had us losing 8 rounds out of 10. It was 118-110, I think the score was.
We're going to talk about that too.
But that's what she saw, and as I've always said, I don't think in the history of boxing there's ever been a result changed because of the scoring. Maybe because of drugs, maybe because of some kind of cheating, but as far as the judge's perspective, that's the judge's perspective. There's 3 judges, and that's what they do, and so I wasn't going to argue it. The second one, I thought that was a little closer, but in the second one, I think that after the first one, the internet blew up on him, and they started saying he's just a puncher. He doesn't know how to box. He doesn't, he's just a brawler. He doesn't know how to do anything.
He never ran. He was always coming forward.
The kid had 350 amateur fights.
Yeah.
He knows how to box. So in his mind, I think he had to prove to everybody that he could box. And he had a great jab in the fight. He just wasn't aggressive. And if you notice in the fight, maybe the second or third round, I whispered in his ear, I said, "Gee, you cannot box this guy. You have to fight this guy. You got to back him up." If you're a judge and you've watched 4 or 5 of his fights, or you've judged 4 or 5 of his fights, and he's always going forward, you assume he's winning. When you see the man backing up and Canelo's going forward, the other guy's winning. I think anyway, that was the reason why we lost that one. But I still feel we won both of them. I'll go to my grave thinking that. But it was fun to be part of that.
That's it. That was history.
History, yeah.
That was history. Those are fights for.
And I never criticize the judges, and I'm gonna tell you why I never criticize the judges. There's gonna come a time. There's gonna come a point in my career. I hope not, but there may become a point in my career where a judge gives me a fight, or judges give me a fight that I didn't deserve with my fighter. Am I going to be a hypocrite and not question why they gave me that fight? So I got to look at it both ways. It's not just, gee, I have a lot of other fighters that I have to be honest and truthful. And if they give me a fight, am I going to complain because they gave it to me?
Yeah, okay, I part of me feels like, well, I was going to get to that anyway, but let's get to the Triple D. What did you think that he could have done better in the first fight? I know you just said you got to fight him. You can't be.
I thought that we won that fight.
I never seen Triple G get hurt.
Yeah, no,
never.
You know what? We do a lot of work.
That guy had a jaw like a.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever
Billy
seen
Goat,
any of my guys get hurt. We do a lot of work on. Obviously, we can't make you granite chin, but we can help you with work that we do in the gym. But yeah, he was just his biggest asset, in my opinion. Two of them was his strength, and I'm not talking about his body strength or anything, just his strength of character. And the other one was he was just so confident in his abilities that nobody. I mean, how many times did he put his head there against Monroe just to go ahead and just hit me? Because he knew what he was going to do, and he had to set those things up. So his chin was part maybe God-given, just like Chavez, and part of the work that we've done in the gym and the confidence that he had in his abilities that nobody was going to hurt him.
Yeah. So after the Canelo fight, if you don't mind me asking, I know the fans want to know, what happened, Abel? What happened?
Unfortunately, we had differences, monetarily differences, so I decided not to continue for the same reasons that I gave in the Terry Norris
I was just going to ask you, is it that kind of...
Yeah, I don't want to be working with somebody where I'm going to have to second guess myself. I'm going to be in the corner for you and 1,000% for you. And if I feel you can't continue, I'm going to make that decision because I feel you can't continue. Or I'm going to give you instructions in a manner that are going to benefit us and not hurt you because you're hurting me. And I love these kids. I mean, we as coaches, you can ask Ben. Every one of the kids, no matter how bad or how they treated you, they're your kids.
Yeah. You win, they win. You lose, they lose.
Right. Yeah, I was with him 9.5 years. So
you gain a relationship, and you were actually living with them pretty much.
Well, actually, he was. Like I said, he was with us in the gym 2 years for close to 3/4, 7/8 of the year. So that's a lot of time to spend together.
Yeah. And was he a married guy?
He was a married guy, and I'm surprised that for the first 3 years how he stayed married, because his wife, he had a young son. He had a young son, maybe at the time was maybe 3 or 4 years old, 2 or 3 years old. So I'm surprised that I didn't hear any issues. He was a very private guy. He doesn't discuss his private life. I don't like to discuss our private lives either. But he was married, a beautiful woman. He's got, I believe, 3 kids now, 2 girls and a young man that's a great hockey player.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. So what are you doing right now then? After the Triple G, when you decided to cut that relationship, were you second guessing?
No, I had other fighters. I had Murat Gassiev that was still in the gym. I had Arsen Golomirin that was still in the gym.
Who's that other big?
Murat Gassiev.
Oh my God!
Yes,
when he
cruiserweight.
Fought that fight with that left hook. Oh my God!
Oh, that Schimmel.
Yes.
Yeah, Schimmel. We fought a guy named Jordan Schimmel.
And they were talking about he was a beast.
Well, he was 26-1. He was like a Olympic alternate or something like that. And
when this guy, you'll show it on the split screen, guys. When he hit him with that left hook, right?
Left hook,
oh my God!
Well, in my gym, I've always made it a point that for every fighter that I have, I always implement one thing that we're going to work on specifically for that camp. The guys that come to me, obviously the guys that come to me are very experienced. They have a lot of fights. So my job is to improve what they have they come with. So with that particular fight, I wanted to, and if you hear the tape, you hear me saying it, I wanted to prepare the second shot. In other words, I wanted him to give away one to get the second one. So if you notice, he's throwing the right hand, right before the hook, he throw the right hand that's about a foot short, but what he was doing is positioning himself to throw the left hook. So that's what we were working on in the gym
And
with
he hit him.
And he hit him perfect. He reminded me of someone, Rocky Marciano, kind of with that left hook. Yeah. But I got that young man when he was 19 years old, and it was an afterthought. The management team sent him along with other fighters, and he wasn't really gonna. They weren't expecting what he eventually did. He was 19 years old, 192 pounds, and I remember wrapping his hands for
So
the
is
first
that cruiserweight, heavyweight?
That was a cruiserweight. He was a small cruiserweight, but I remember wrapping his hands the first time in the gym just so that he could, before a fight, so that he could see what it was going to be like. And I looked, and I remember wrapping his hands, and I said, man, in 3 years you're going to be a heavyweight. You're going to be heavyweight champion of the world. You're going to be cruiserweight champion first, but you're going to be heavyweight. I saw his hands; they were twice as big as mine. I thought this guy's going to grow. Has to grow into his hands.
What nationality is he?
He's actually from Ossetia, Russia, southwestern Russia. The region is called Ossetia.
Right, that
young
fight
man.
always sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, oh, well, then he had another one with Dorticos towards the
Yeah.
end. That was a great fight, too.
That was a great fight.
Yeah. Cuban Olympian that we knocked out in the 12th round.
And your fighter's name was?
was Murat Gassiev.
Murat Garcia.
Murat Gassiev, yes.
Yeah, so you're seeing him right now on this split screen, guys. This guy was
He was a...
a monster, bro. I say that respectfully.
Yeah, and really, I want to say that other than Golovkin, he's probably the biggest puncher I've ever had.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some punchers. I've had some guys that I developed into. Not that they were punchers when they came to me, because a lot of guys think that.
Let me ask you that as a trainer, Abel. Can you make a man more powerful?
Not so much more powerful, but what you
some
can
guys
do,
are
what
just
you can do is
heavy-handed,
timing, the way you throw your punches, the preciseness of your punch, your positioning of your punch.
I even
timing of
see
your
that as a
punch.
referee. Some guys slap and some guys will turn it.
Right. And it's what you do in the gym.
Yeah.
I think that people say, yeah, well, you've always had the punches. Really, when I get fighters, they're not punchers. They're punchers. Golovkin had 23 knockouts in a row with me. Gassiev had maybe 12 knockouts in a row with me. Shafikov wasn't a puncher, and he fought Jamal Herring. And Jamal Herring tells me after the fight, that's the biggest, I've never been hit that hard. And this kid wasn't a puncher. It's just what you do in the gym to make them stronger. That's the things that I'm saying, that sometimes we have to get away from what was normal to try to implement some things that are going to benefit your fighters. And I think that we've done that. I think we have a program that we've done that, and I've been very fortunate to have been successful with it.
And this is where, and some boxing fan will look at, he's real muscular. Chavez wasn't a muscular guy.
And listen, Timothy Brady's probably got the most beautiful body as a boxer that there is, but he just couldn't crack. I remember, maybe in 2014, 2013, Terry Norris called me up one day and says, Coach, I'm going to church. I go to church, same church that Tim Bradley does. Would it be okay if I brought him up and we started working on, show him kind of things that you do? So of course, T. I called him T. Of course, T. Of course you can bring him up. It never materialized, but that would have been something to see why. I would be interesting for me to see why a guy like built like that is not punching harder.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And you know what? Do you have a closed gym?
It is a private gym.
Yeah. Because I know when Ben's training, it's closed. But a couple of times I peeked in it, and just the exercise they do.
Yeah. Well, all those
things can only build strength.
Yeah. All those things have to be done, in my opinion, just so that you're different from the rest.
Yeah.
You can't continue to. What's that saying? The old saying that says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
True. That makes sense right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to implement things that, and not everybody can do that. I had I'm not going to mention his name, but I had a world champion that came here and only lasted 3 days. 3 days. We worked him 3 days, and he went home and said, "This is too hard for me."
Wow.
God's honest truth. I mean, my fighter. I come back to the gym and I asked one of my fighters. In fact, Dennis Shafikov was who I asked, and he says, "No, coach." He said, he went home. He says, "This is too hard."
That was one of my other questions. Have you ever had to tell a fighter, it's just not working out?
Well, absolutely. No, you know what? I've always
because of either their lackluster.
I've always made
attitude?
it a point. No, I've always made it a point. If you're going to work with me, I want you to come up for. If you're a seasoned fighter, let's just say you're some kind of world champion or some kind of highly rated guy, I want you to work with me for 3 or 4 weeks, and then see if we get along. If we don't get along, we don't have to tell nobody. You know, we don't tell nobody. Nobody knows it's a private.
Well, what's getting along, Abel?
Getting along is you understand that I'm in charge, and you have to, in order for me to be successful, in order for any coach to be successful, they have to, your pupil has to accept what you're teaching them. Mind you, when we get, it's just like Belichick over in New England, Coach Belichick. He's getting players that have gone through a system, different systems all the way, college, high school, pee-wees, all that. He's getting them, and then he's putting them through his system. So if those players are not willing to absorb and to accept, then it's not going to work. Same thing with the coach for the Lakers. What was his name? Phil. You know, you have to. Great players like Shaq and like Kobe have to accept what that coach is trying to implement. You know, it doesn't mean that it's right, but hey, listen, if you're going to be my leader, you have to accept me as a leader.
And like you said, at the end of the game, who are they going to blame?
It's us.
You know what I mean?
So I've always believed that if it's going to be my fault, let it be my fault. If I'm not in results, and I always say, well, somebody will tell me, well, that coach is, you know, that's a great coach over there. Says, you know, don't ask me to opinion on it. Don't ask me that because it's not good for us to opinion on somebody else.
Yeah.
But what you have to look at is results. Resume. Give him take a fighter for 6 months and see if he can make him better. You know, we all have our own ways. Every coach is different, and we should be different because we don't want robots in the ring. We want guys that. Robert's got his own ways. Manny's got his own ways. Freddie's got his own ways. Nacho's got his own ways, and they're all successful coaches. Why? Because they're not following any kind of pattern. They're doing their thing.
Yeah. So who do you have today?
Right now, I have a young man named Philip Hrgovic. He's a heavyweight. We just fought in Saudi in August. He beat a guy named David Adderley. He's probably rated number 2 or 3 now, or 4 in the world. He had a back cut. If you saw the fight, he had a cut that was like all the way across his eyes. I was able to stop it. I work cuts and I wrap my own hands. I grew up in an era where there was no money to pay anybody. You know, in the late 70s, early 80s, there was no money to pay anybody. We were working for $50 a round, $100 a round. Yeah, oh yeah, it was ugly.
How did you survive back then?
It was difficult. But, so you learn how to do all the things.
Yeah.
So I learned how to work cuts and wrap my own hands by practice, by going down to...
And you could do all that while you're coaching in a real fight?
Absolutely. If you watch the fight, it was August the 16th. The guy's name is Philip Hrgovic. If you watch it on
Philip Hrgovic,
he got cut in the second round. And
your fighter is
Philip Hrgovic.
And the fighter he fought,
David Adderley.
Hrgovic.
Yeah, August 16th.
August 16th.
And he got caught with a half uppercut 45 and a big old gash.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, big old gash, and it was always across. It was all.
You took Ben with you, didn't you?
Ben and my son always work.
Yeah,
at least when they can. Anyways, you know, they have other things that.
That's right. You did work that.
Interfere. Yeah,
you did.
So
work that.
We won the fight probably 9 rounds to 1. A great 8th round that everybody's talking about when he knocked him down and then he kind of relaxed and got caught with a couple shots. And again, the work that we do in the gym maybe kept him up, conditioning and then work we do with neck exercises and stuff like that. But so I learned how to work cuts and wrap hands because I didn't want to pay anybody because there was no money to pay anybody. So when you come to the gym and you start working with me, understand that I'm the coach. I have no assistants in my gym. I do my own towels. I clean my own gym. I like to do everything myself because I have nobody to blame but me.
So, do you believe in like strength trainers, stuff
no.
like that? You know what? And it's funny you said because I got scolded. You know, my son Adrian fought 13 fights with Ben Liren. This is when he first turned pro. I go, hey Ben, there's this guy that wants to train strength training. And he just looked at me and I just knew that look, bro. Yeah. He goes,
you know, they have no clue. I think that I would give a strength trainer a lot more credit if he went out and started with a 16-year-old kid and developed them into a world champion. Then they want to come in when a fighter's already made and then claim that it was because of them that they're winning. You know, the coach has done all this work to develop. You win by throwing punches. You don't win by being stronger.
And is it true? Follow the basics.
Absolutely.
And you'll stay in shape.
Absolutely. This is why this young man here is on my shoulder, on my heart here. This is when Emmanuel Stewart died. He was one of the mentors that I had. I put this on my shirts because I really believe in the methods that we would have many talks And he would say, you have to do the KISS method. You have to keep it simple.
There you go.
He didn't say stupid, but you had to keep it simple. He didn't believe in any of that. He didn't believe in nutritionists. There's an old story, I'll keep the names out of it, but there's an old story of a coach firing a nutritionist because they couldn't, or two nutritionists actually working together, couldn't figure out what to feed this fighter. And the promoter next day calls the coach and says, how come you fired him? We have this important fight coming up. He says, listen, promoter, if this young man won a gold medal eating spaghetti, then he needs to be eating spaghetti.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know, sometimes we try to make this so complicated that it's not complicated. It's actually very, very simple. And I've always done it myself here in the gym with the strength and conditioning because I know at least I think I know what I need to work on.
I was just going to ask you that too.
To benefit my fighter.
Because every fighter might have something they need specifically to work on, am I right?
Yes and no. I mean, if you look at let's just say a bodybuilder, okay? They gotta build every part of their body, okay? Maybe their legs are a weakness, maybe they work more legs, but the exercises are basically the same for all bodybuilders. Same thing for the boxers. What you need to do is make sure that they have, in my opinion, more snap to the punches, more speed, more strength, body strength. So a lot of the things that we do are to make them not only stronger, but sharper and quicker. And it doesn't take 2 weeks, it doesn't take 2 months, it doesn't take 6 months. It's like anything. You know, they start at 4 rounds and they go to 6 rounds, it's a long career. So it's something building on what you're doing in the prior months. But no, I've never had a strength in the 45, 46 years that I've been doing this. I've never had a strength and conditioning coach or a nutritionist.
There it is, guys.
And we've had results. So
yeah.
I'm not against it if they want to hire a nutritionist. Just every day I put you on that scale over there. I put you on that scale, and every day I don't give a shit what excuse you want to give me on that scale. Every day you best weigh less than you weighed before. You best weigh less than you weighed yesterday. Every day before we run, I put you on the scale. So my guys are never going to be overweight. My guys have, in the 40-some years that I've been training, I've never had a guy overweight. Because I travel with a scale, and they check their weight every day. Golovkin used to leave here. Let's just say we're fighting in New York. He'd leave here on Monday, a pound and a half over his weight. We get to New York, Monday night we'd have steak and potato, because he loves steak and potato. Tuesday night he'd have steak and potato. Wednesday night he'd have steak and potato. Thursday cut it a little to half a steak and half a potato, and he'd weigh in just fine. He didn't have to kill himself. Of course, we were training after he ate. We trained, you train. But the worst.
So you know what to feed your fighters as well, right?
Yes and no. Again,
because I eat steak and potato. Why do I look like this, bro?
Because you're not working out. But no, if I have in the previous gym that I had a Ghanaian, I had a Nigerian, I had a Puerto Rican, a Cuban, a Kazakh, Mexican. A white guy, let's just say, am I going to have 8 chefs to feed them what they used to eat before?
Yeah.
No. Food is food. Obviously, you know what's bad for you, but in every culture, there's certain things that are very similar that are bad for you. Flours, sugars, juices, in every culture is going to be bad for you. Just because you're Ghanaian doesn't mean that you're different. I'll give you a little story. I used to have a kickboxer here. When I first opened the gym, I think they called him Big Mo. And one day he got sick and he says, "Coach, is there a Samoan hospital?"
The heavyweight guy?
Heavyweight, yeah.
I seen him yesterday at the gym.
He says to me, "Coach, is there a Samoan hospital around here?"
Samoan hospital?
Yeah, our bodies are different than regular people. I said, "You're crazy, man. There's a hospital right down the street that we go if you feel sick." So it's a joke, but it just goes to show you that everybody's the same, man. Everybody is the same. Your body is the same.
We all bleed red, bro.
Yeah, that's right. So, of course, you have to stay away from the breads and the tortillas and all that, like our culture, the fattening stuff. But we just have to have the basic groups and just, if you're eating 1.5 pounds, this is how I tell my fighters, if you're eating 1.5 pounds today and we're starting to lose weight, go to 1.25 pounds and then go, of total food during the day. Eat before you train, light in the evening. We used to have, when I was with Ben, we used to have this young man, rest in peace, his name is Gino Perez. And Gino would always have issues with his weight. And one day, I just because I asked him what he was eating, and he says, "Well, I eat this in the morning, this before I come to the gym, and then at night I have a big dinner, and because that's us, that's our culture, you know. And Latins do that." And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you do this? Why don't you eat the big meal before you come train? Because he used to train like at 4 o'clock, and then at night just have a salad, have that." Before you knew it, he was losing weight. You know, just because he wasn't doing what we do.
Yeah.
we have this big meal and then we go to sleep, right? So it's really not that. People try to make it complicated. It's not that complicated, man. It's actually very, very simple, very, very simple. But that thing right there, that scale, the fighters always think that that's their worst enemy. That's their best friend. That should be their best friend.
Yeah. My wife always says you get on it, it makes you cry.
No, what you get on it, you understand what you can do and you can't do as an athlete. Because if you're overweight, then you know tomorrow you best watch what you do. Yeah. And the one thing that they don't do enough, in my opinion, is they don't drink enough water.
Water's the key. Huh? That's all I drink.
5-6 gallons. I mean, 4 or 5 gallons a day for the bigger guys. 2 or 3 gallons a day for the little guys. Oh, coach, I'm gonna gain weight. No, you're not. No, you're not. Just if you do, blame it on me. Seriously.
Let me ask you I didn't bring my headgear, but let me ask you about officials. How do you feel about us officials? What would you like to see more?
Further back. No, what would I like to see
honest,
more?
though,
Officials as far as judges or as far as...
Both.
Okay.
Start with the judges.
Okay, I'll start with the judges. I know that this
Accountability,
is...
maybe?
No, I know that this goes back maybe 100 years, the way that their judge fights. You have 3 judges. I would like to see the judges put outside of in the ring, or
Put what?
put them outside in a room. Put them in another room where they're watching the fights, or another area where they're watching the fights without the influences. Okay, 1. 2, if it stays that way, put 2 more judges outside of that room that have a say-so
In the final
decision. Just so that there's more, because I think we get, including my fighters, including Golovkin, there may have been rounds that we lost or that we won that we should have lost. You know, and not only Golovkin, but other fighters, let's just say. So I want it to be more, so that the fans don't think that it's so not lopsided, so crooked. You know, a lot of the fans think it's crooked. Because there is some questionable things. You know, I've seen some fights where, wow, what were they seeing? So I would like to get, I'm not saying it's because I think it's crooked, it's not. I think that everybody has a perspective. When you're looking at it from this side, doesn't mean you see the same thing from that side or from that side. But if you see it from the top, from somewhere else, maybe you see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, to toot California, Andy Foster, he straight out says, if a judge or referee bring any shame or embarrassment to my state, you will not work.
No,
I don't care who you are.
I like Andy Foster. Andy Foster is, he's trying to keep it straight for us.
You know what I mean? He's very, and he don't care if Fernando Villarreal, I don't know if you know him, he's a judge, #1 in the world. Yeah. He's the top #1 judge. All his numbers are right there.
You know what I would like to see with judges is I would like for them to be put on, just like in football, in baseball, I would like for them to be rated in every fight that they work, and have a panel of say 5 judges in the United States that give you a rating, so that at the end of the year you're the ones that are doing the big fights.
Yeah.
You know, that not so much the referees, because the referees, you're gonna have a fight where it's gonna be a stinker, where the referee's not gonna look as good as in a fight whereas they don't have to interfere. So, but the judges, I think, need to be rated, I guess is the best way I can say it.
There is a rating system.
Oh, there is?
There is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's where Fernando Villarreal is #1 in the world.
Oh, I didn't know. But does that mean that he gets a good fight, though?
Unfortunately, in California he does, and he's starting to work Vegas, but...
No, I think it should be United States wide. I don't want to say worldwide, but I think United States wide.
And Andy Foster has these charts where he rates all these judges.
That's good.
You know what I mean? How about us referees? Be nice, be nice.
I think that the only thing...
Real quick, let me say this. A compliment to me, who did that fight? Who refereed that fight?
No, absolutely.
To me, that's a compliment.
Absolutely.
The less I'm seen, the less I'm involved, better I get evaluated.
I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial, but only because of the state of our sport today, not with the judges, but with our athletes. Okay, and I'll get back to that. I think that we stop fights too early. I think that fighters need to work themselves out of a situation. I'm not saying lay them out, but just work themselves out of the situation. We have seen some fights where they get stopped and give them a chance, man.
Yeah.
You have to know the fighter.
We're in the pros. We're not in the amateurs.
Yeah, you have to know the fighters. You have to study the fighters as far as who you're going to be reffing. And if this is the kind of guy, that Randy Tex Cobb, he gets hit with 4 or 5 great shots and you stop the fight. Wait a minute, this guy goes 12 rounds.
He's notorious
like
known for that. You know?
So
he gets mad when you don't hit him, man.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to sue you. So anyway, I think they stop fights too quickly. Now, getting back to what I was saying, the state of our sport, I think that we need to manage it better. And how I say manage it better, I'll give some credit to the WBC for implementing, Don Jose, for implementing that 7-day and 30-day rule, for the weights.
Yeah.
I think that we need to have that in throughout the United States, but it can't be the coaches or somebody associated with the fighter that checks the weight. I think that we have enough money in this sport that they can assign two doctors' offices in Southern California, 2 doctors' offices in Central California, 2 doctors' offices in Northern California, where you as a fighter or as a manager, if you want to fight, you have to check your weight 30 days before and 7 days before. And I think that 10% is too much and 5% is too much. I think it needs to be less. And the reason I say
Andy has implemented that rule in California. If you come in, let's just say you weigh in at 140, and the next day, the day of the fight, you come in at 155, he won't let you. Then the next fight, he's going to tell you you're moving up because he don't want you dehydrated.
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The reason that they're gaining so much weight is because they killed themselves to make the weight. So their body's going to take everything back in.
That's when you see them with their eyes in the back of their head and when they're weighing in.
You know several fighters in the last 10 years and you look at them as, damn, that's a skeleton right there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see them fighting and they look like $1 million. Well, you're not going to recover in one day. Now, we had unfortunate 2 deaths in Japan on the same card, okay? Now, it's happening too often where kids are getting hurt. And you asked me about Terry Norris, about that, okay? I think that they sacrifice themselves so much to make the weight and to kill themselves to make the weight that something's got to give.
Yeah.
Now, why is it that we don't have any deaths in the heavyweight division?
Because you don't have to watch.
They didn't lose weight.
Yeah.
They're not losing weight, man. We're having all the issues with the lower weights because they're killing themselves to make the weight. So I think, and I said this a long time ago, they need to have 2 doctors or 3 offices in Southern California and in Middle and Northern California where the fighters have to go. If they don't go, they don't fight. Simple. It's got to be like, do this or forget it.
So if you get a 6-week notice for a fight, you go weigh in today.
And if you're a certain weight over that, you can't fight.
Yeah.
It's got to be a percentage. 10% is too much for me.
So your fighters, let's go back to your fighters. So he fought Saturday, and in another week, hey, Abel, we got another big fight for you guys. Go weigh in. He better be within 10 pounds of that.
Now, whose responsibility is that? Is the fighter. Okay, we fought in Vegas. On the kid that fought the first Netflix fight on the card was a kid named Muhammad Alakel. He's a kid, one of my kids. He fought at 132. The weight was 133. He weighed 132. Okay.
Wow.
I know. They always go in weight whenever I travel with him again because of that scale. So we come back. Tuesday, he's going to go back home for a little while. He's coming back on the 6th. He fights again on the 22nd of November. But anyway, he comes back and he says, Coach, how much do you think I weigh? I said, no, 140, 141, normal, right? He gets on the scale 134.
That's a disciplined guy, man.
So going back to what you just said,
it's a hungry
if I'm going to offer you a fight in 2 weeks, you may get a fight in 2 weeks. You best keep your weight down. But how many fighters do you know do that? You know, and we're condoning it as coaches because it's easier that way. And unfortunately, for my peers, for my fellow coaches, there's maybe 2 or 3% in the world that make enough money so they don't have the second job. Okay? So a lot of us coaches, we all started the same way. A lot of us coaches are working 2 jobs and going to the gym and putting in that effort in the gym. And if a fighter's going to fight, you need that cash, for. So we condone things that maybe we shouldn't condone, and we allow things to happen we shouldn't. But we're doing it because we got to eat. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me get a little personal here. My own son, towards the end, Ben told him, you really need to take a good look at your career, because we're training to lose weight. We're not training to get better.
Right. Yeah.
And that's when my son said, you're right, Ben. I need to stop.
No, and who's it hurting? If we don't say it, the only thing when it's hurting is our kids, because we consider them our kids. I mean, yeah, you're his father, but Ben's his father too.
Yeah.
Because when he's in the ring, he's looking at him as that's my responsibility. And if we don't get tougher with it, we're going to have more tragedies like we had in Japan. I don't know the details to why those kids died, but like I asked a little while ago, the heavyweights are not dying.
Well, we actually have training every 6 months, and the doctor comes out and tells us, but he's been telling this for years, when a fighter loses weight, when he dehydrates that bad, the jelly in his brain, it takes more like 3 days to come back, and they're fighting the next day. So it's like a marble with nothing to bounce off but their skull.
Right.
So no, you're totally right, and that's where Andy Foster, to the boss. No, if you fight at 140 and you come in at 155 the next day, you know what? You might not even fight. Let alone you're gonna fight higher weight next fight.
We won't let you fight.
Yeah, we won't let you fight.
Well, see, but if we had these offices, these doctors' offices, where the doctor was putting his reputation on the line.
Yeah.
As we as coaches say, WBC or anybody, organization say, well, go check his weight. We'll go check his weight, and maybe we, he's fine. Or we lie about his weight. No, I'm not saying that I ever did, but I know that it's easy to manipulate the system, and that shouldn't be the possibility. Because what's that saying? They say, I'd rather stop a fight 1 punch too early than 1 punch too late.
Yes, well, on that note, I mean, I don't know if it's a good comment or bad comment, but Andy Foster had told me in front of my other referees, he goes, you can't accuse Ray Corona for stopping a fight too late. I didn't know how to take that.
Well,
I didn't know if that was a good one or a bad one.
In today's time, because of how we're coming into the fight, it's better to do it your way. Because
Jack and Tom is our mentor. They're one of the trainers. So they said there's that 10%, that 10, like the diamond, that's that fine line. Do you stop it too early? Do you stop it too late? If it's a 12-round fight, if it's a title fight, you're obviously going to take them to deeper water.
Right.
But if it's a 4-round fight, do you really want them to take that beating?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Did they make weight right?
Right.
I even, because I boxed as a child with Ben, I always look at the trainer too. If I know that trainer is a disciplined trainer, I'll do it. But if I know that trainer, hey, come over here, I'll corner you.
Right.
You know what I mean? All that takes into play,
If you had the system in place where that they weren't cheating, let's just say, in their weight, then it would be a little bit different. You wouldn't be as I don't want to say careful. You wouldn't be as I better watch that guy because I know what they do. You'd have more of assurances that it was done correctly. But until then, we're gonna have tragedies. I think anyway. Just like you said about the gel in your head, it's just bouncing back and forth, and that's cool. And it may not be this fight. It may not be this fight, but it could be the next fight. I've unfortunately had 3 tragedies happen in my career. Not that not my guys, but the other guys. Sergey Kovalev killed a young man in Russia on a fight, and Paul Vaden unfortunately killed a guy in the ring also. And then we had Mike Perez, who hurt real bad, a young man in New York. I don't know if you remember that. I forget his name now. But anyway, it was on the Golovkin-Rosado card. And I think that you guys have a terrible job as far as you have to decide, and you're not going to be right. We're gonna be pissed off at you, but you have to just brush that off, because tomorrow we're going to be better as coaches. In other words, because you stopped my guy, you could have let him go, but maybe you helped me. Maybe you helped him. You know,
When I give my instructions in the dress room, I always tell the fighter, if you don't show me that you're getting out of that trouble spot, I'd rather you be pissed off at me today than your parents hating me in the morning.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, listen, and you're closer to the action. You kind of, you hear everything, you see everything, you hear the grunts and the groans, and when they get hit with a good shot, you hear all that. Yeah. We in the corner, we may not hear as, you know.
Well, it's funny you say that. The Fundura fight, you know what I mean? The Fundura fight, the girl, I did her fight last week, and
what a nice lady that is.
Huh?
What a nice young lady that is.
Oh man, she's so polite, so nice, but she was socking up this girl, and this girl was just, you know what I mean? And she was taking, but she was throwing back. So in the fourth round, I went into the corner and I told her cornerman, do you want this for her? You know, she's in the fight, but do you want this for her? It was only a 10-round fight. Right. And I asked her, do you want to continue? And she just looked at me. She didn't say yes, she didn't say no. I took that as, you know what, do what you got to do or get me out of here.
Yeah, well, see, this is where we as coaches, again, I go back to the 97, 98%.
So if I would have went in there and asked you, do you really want this? What would you have told me?
No, I would have asked her myself. Her expression to me would have told me. Yeah. Or I shouldn't say I would have asked her. I would have looked at her and I said, and as I'm giving my instructions, I got to see that fire or else, I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go because...
that says a lot about Abel Sanchez. You know, I know a coach, I won't say his name, he always used to say, I'm not the one getting hit. I thought that was so selfish, you know.
Well, I think that there comes a point in everybody's career, fighters, where you're sitting in the corner and is this really what I want to do? And every fighter, I don't care if you're a world champion or not, there comes a fight early in your career when you sit there and you say, is this really, because you have to have those kind of fights to be able to progress and to be able to get better. And as a coach, I think that you have to recognize those moments and see what's on the other side. If I have a fighter that's losing a fight, let's just say, fortunate for me, God has blessed me that I don't have too many of those. And the other guy over there has maybe 10 fights, but 0 knockouts. My guy's getting hit, but really, you know, we're still in the fight. My guy's a little bigger puncher, then I'm not going to be so apt to stop a fight. Yeah. But if the other guy on the other side is 10-0 with 10 knockouts, and my guy's getting hit, I got to really think about that.
So you study then? As a coach, you study.
I got to see what's on the other side. I got to see what...
Plan A and Plan B pretty much?
Actually, there's no Plan B for me. Plan A, if it's not working, it's not working. We're going to stop it. Yeah.
Have you stopped fights?
I've stopped fights before, yeah. Early in my career, I stopped more fights. Early in my career, my system wasn't as perfected, let's just say, as it is today. And the fighters that I had maybe weren't as the quality that I'm getting now. Mind you, at the beginning, we work with fighters that maybe we shouldn't work with because you want to stay busy. Today, fortunately, I'm getting fighters that are a little more qualified that I can let go a little bit more. But in fact, I'll tell you a little story. I had a friend of mine in San Diego who had a kid that was a 4-round fighter. And the kid was a good fighter. And we had him in a fight, and my friend wrapped his hands, and he had me working inside, and comes back to the corner after the second round and says to me, this is how, I say this story because this is how you have to get them to talk to you. And he says to me and to his coach, I think I hurt my hand. He started complaining about his hand. He's winning the fight. And I said, wait, let me go tell the referee you want to stop the fight. No, what do you mean you want to stop the fight? Well, then I don't want to hear about that. You know, so I don't want to hear about your hand hurting. This is the kind of business you get into. Right? This is a fight game. So now, if I would have noticed that he was throwing his hand and he was going down like this, and then maybe I would consider stopping the fight. You know, like he's really hurt.
Even if he was winning?
Even if he's winning. Now, of course, I don't want. Can you imagine? If it's a first round and it's a 6-round fight and you're going to keep, you know, if I see grimacing, if I see that.
And is it true some hand injuries never
they never get back? No, unfortunately, sometimes Floyd's got big issues with his hands because he had injuries at the beginning. Just Floyd's so talented that he can get away with some of the things that he does. But he had issues with his hands. Remember the injections that he used to get and all that? Once you hurt your hands, it's going to be difficult to do this profession. Mm-hmm.
Well, with that said, Abel, tell us a little bit about your gym. If somebody wants to come and do you rent time? Do you rent space? Do Do you host other fighters? Do you put them up in what do they call it?
Airbnbs.
Airbnbs. Is your gym open to the public or just it's private? Tell us a little bit about it before we get off.
It's actually a private gym.
Okay.
It's a private gym, and it's for my guys. I have 6 guys right now, so. But if friends of mine come up, there's a company that rents a bunch of Airbnbs here. It's got 100 houses under contract, I think. So there's a house to be rented somewhere around the gym, and he also manages his gym. So if somebody wants to come up and say get a couple hours or 3 hours during the day, it's a commercial building, so it can be from 5 in the morning till actually all 24 hours a day because there's nobody to bother here. It's well heated. It's got showers, it's got bathrooms, it's got everything. So
and Abel's really doing a nice job in the back, bro.
yeah. So yeah, they could call me or text me, and I can then relay it back over to the guy that's managing everything, and hopefully he hasn't set something up for that time that you're interested in. But yeah, I mean, I want to give as many opportunities, as many camps as possible. But obviously we have to work around my guys, and if they happen to be in our weight category, which right now I have a couple 135 pounders, one 54 pounder, actually 2 54 pounders, a heavyweight, and a 68 pounder. So if we're in that range, then we could help each other. You know, we don't have to bring sparring now.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, hey guys, thank you, Abel, for coming on, man. This was awesome. I hope you guys liked it. Please share this. Ref Popeye Ray or Third Man in the Ring on YouTube, guys. And hey, we'll see you. We'll do this like in a year or so, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Abel.
Thank you very much.